Well, good evening, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order for the Brawley City Council and successor agency to Brawley Community Redevelopment Agency. It's a regular meeting for March 7th at 6 p.m. here at the City Council chambers in Brawley. Welcome, everyone. If we can have the roll call, please.
Councilmember Hamby.
Here.
Councilmember Revelar. Here. Councilmember Wharton.
Here.
Mayor Nava.
Here.
Okay, and Mayor Pro Tem is absent.
And just for the record, I did speak to Mayor Pro Tem Castro. He's out on a family commitment that he couldn't get away from, so he wanted to send his regards and his apologies to everyone. All right, thank you. So next we have the invocation. If we can have Councilmember Hamby lead the invocation, please. If you can please rise.
Let's bow our heads and pray together. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we are so thankful to you tonight for your many blessings. We thankful for your hand of protection upon our citizens and upon our city employees. Ask that you would be present with us in this meeting tonight, that you would oversee our proceedings, Lord, that you would, especially tonight, comfort those who are suffering loss. We ask that you would heal those that are sick, that you would continue to place your hand of protection upon our city. We thank you again for your many blessings. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Coach Tony Leon, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. It's a full room. A little warm for me. I've got no hair to catch my sweat, so please excuse me. All right. We're going to move on the agenda. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
I'll motion to approve.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is public appearances, comments not to exceed 4 minutes. This is a time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name for the record. You are not allowed to make personal attacks on individuals or make comments which are slanderous or which may invade an individual's personal privacy. Please direct your questions and comments to the city council. Is there anyone here who would like to make a public comment?
Myself, Ms. Parga.
Okay, Ms. Parga.
I've been speaking at the county for the last couple of months, and everything I've dealt with because of the COVID guidelines and restrictions, it's taken a toll on my mental health. And obviously, crime has been an issue because of these restrictions and guidelines. I don't feel safe in this town. I travel out to feel safe where there is state and federal funding. This past weekend, I went to Chandler, Arizona. I felt safe there. I went to Gilbert, Arizona. Now that met my standards of living. Last week, I went to La Quinta, where there was federal agents as I was having dinner. Why don't we have that here? I made a public comment last week at the Board of Supervisors meeting. And for once in my life, I realized there is a system in place to keep us alive. However, that system isn't really, out there in the public for citizens to access it. So I ask that you go to the Board of Supervisors and ask for $7 million, because that's how much my husband's family would have gained on health insurance if I would have done the crime I wanted to do, because I was taking medication that my psychiatrist had provided me 2 weeks ago. I know it's a hefty number, but that's a family. It's $1 million for every child, husband and wife. I don't feel safe in this town because you have a lot of illegal activity. As a mother, I flee to keep my kids safe. I can't keep on fleeing. I have 5150'd myself twice in January. I can't keep doing that. Every single time I go in there, I find new ways on how to either launder money or become a drug lord myself. We need more kids like Mr. Platt in this city. You have good kids. We just need to provide the resources so they stay out of trouble. Because kids being shot at catcall is a disgrace. And I'm glad you guys found the person who did it. But we can't be having instances like that happen. Not here. And with that, I'll leave it there, okay?
Thank you, Ms. Margaret. Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
comments. Is there anyone else who'd like to make a comment here? All right, there's.
Hi, I'm Deb Smurden, and I own DS Art Studio and Gallery here on the corner. And I was just wondering if there'd be a way that maybe council could talk to Public Works and see if there's some study or something they could do to help us slow down the traffic coming off of Main onto the plaza and coming off of North 5th onto the plaza. This time of the year, it's especially noticeable because it's nice and my windows are open, and it's just sort of gotten to the point where it's like a racetrack. And today I witnessed where the mail truck was trying to back into the post office and he had to wait until people went by. I know you guys can't address people that don't have manners, but maybe there's a way that we can put some signage up or get speed bumps. So I'm just asking that Public Works take a look at it and see if there's a way we can slow that traffic coming off of those two streets that lead into the plaza here.
Thank you for your comments.
Sure.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to make a public comment?
To the mayor, city council, city manager, city attorney. My name is Carol Goss. I've been here before. I live at 649 Main Street, the Cyrodiil Plaza here in Brawley. In reference to the noise ordinance, the restriction on loud music. I have attended the council meetings 4 times regarding the situation. Nothing has been done to resolve the matter. I feel I'm wasting my time and your time to keep coming back talking about the same thing. I'm a resident of Brawley and do not plan to move, and I want to see Brawley grow. In the last meeting, it was said by Mayor Pro Tem Ramon Castro that I should ask my landlord to soundproof my windows, and then I would not hear the noise. 805 was given permission to open an open-air business, but I was asked to have my windows soundproof so I wouldn't hear the noise. I feel that it was an insult. The city council are elected by people to manage the city and resolve problems that may arise. City Manager Pro Tem Ramon Castro asked to table this issue for 6 months. I was asked by several people not to bring this before the council because they would not do anything about it, but I did not believe them. But it was my mistake. I believe them now. I never dreamed this issue would have caused such a big problem. In my closing remarks, the noise ordinance should be revised to lower the noise after 10 p.m. because other businesses will perhaps be opening and the same problem will exist. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Is there anyone else who'd like to make a public comment?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Jay Rollins, and I'm a resident of Brawley. 2 of my sons graduated from Brawley High School, and I've worked for a prominent Brawley family-owned business for the last 19 years. I wanted to express my frustration and disappointment regarding the fences that have recently been erected in Meserve Park. These fences are well designed and expertly installed, but they have changed the very nature of this park from an open, multi-use green space to just another baseball and softball field in a community full of such spaces. My wife and I use this park several times a week, almost on a daily basis. Rowan's first slide, her first swing were both at Meserve Park. When my older kids assemble at my house for Christmas or Thanksgiving, we go to Meserve with a Frisbee and get some exercise together. These fences will certainly curtail our ultimate Frisbee games, and I've already witnessed some of the local children trying to play soccer in between the fences, which is unfortunate because, in my opinion, they're unnecessarily boxed in by these barriers that are maybe used a couple hours a week when games are played. One point of clarification, I do want to mention that I think Rachel and her staff do an outstanding job managing the Parks and Recreation Department, and I mean no disrespect. Also, I'm not the enemy of city or private baseball or any other sport, wrestling, for example. But they are a part of the mix of citizens and organizations that use those facilities, and to make them one use seems like a poorly thought through decision. Since it's not my practice generally to present a challenge or make a criticism without suggesting a fix, I do have one. Since the city has removed an open space to enable a single user more refined access to that space, I think it proper that the abandoned tennis courts on the other corner that no one ever uses, that the weeds are growing up in, could be returned to open space as kind of a trade-off. And I, for one, will show up with my shovel to make that happen if given the opportunity. Thank you. I'll yield the rest of my minute for my wife to have any additions or corrections that she might have.
Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Jody Rollins, and I just want to piggyback. Like my husband stated, we use Meserve Park all the time, and I always like to start with positive. If you talk to anybody, Brawley is known for Parks and Rec. I think we have a wonderful system, beautiful parks, especially Pat Williams, which is just not utilized enough. My concern is with the actual playground. I just went down to the First Responders Park in El Centro. It is a dream. It's got the rubber surface instead of the horrible crumbly gravel and dirt. It's got updated equipment. The way the playground is now, it's like a place that time forgot. We need a shade, hopefully. We need updated equipment. And if we could get that rubber surface, I think it would be, first of all, beautiful, and it's a great tool for kids. And to be frank, I mean, I've seen some disgusting things along the rubble and the sand. To be frank with you, I've seen prophylactics used. I've seen liquor bottles, and it kind of gets hidden along the dirt and all the crumbly things. So it would be neater, cleaner, safer, and beautiful, and I think more people would use it if it did look as such. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to make a public comment?
Hi, my name's Elizabeth Machado. I'm going to read a statement. It'll be easier. I've operated a business in Brawley for over 30 years. I've been a resident of Brawley for over 30 years. I've been a downtown property owner and landlord for over 15 years. I did not attend the last council meeting. However, I did listen to it online. And honestly, I was a bit surprised by some of the remarks that the council had in regards to the noise situation downtown. I understand that the city is trying to promote downtown businesses and that we're expecting more businesses downtown, hopefully. But the city's unwillingness to address this noise issue is creating really an adversarial relationship between citizens and business owners. The suggestion that the city council made that property owners, either myself or other property owners, retrofit our buildings to deal with the noise is not a viable solution. In the meantime, other counties or cities in our county, they do have noise ordinances in place. They do follow national standards. Until we could get something in place, it seems like we should follow our own noise ordinance that we have. We do have noise laws on the books. Leaving it up to individual people to sort it out themselves is not a good solution. I'm asking you as elected council members to direct our city staff to figure out a proposal and a means to come up with a situation and a solution that's measurable, that everybody could live with. It should not be left to us individually. And by you not taking action, I feel like it puts us all in a situation that our only recourse is to file lawsuits, and nobody wants to do that. We all want to get along. I know that there's businesses coming in the future. It just seems like it would make sense to address this sooner rather than later. I feel like Mrs. Gause mentioned earlier, this has come before the city council a number of times, and it doesn't seem like any action has happened. If something has happened and I just don't know, please tell me. But I just feel like it's at a standstill. You know, where are we? What's happening with this? Will the council get back to us? How do we find out what's going on?
Well, we appreciate the comment. We're not going to have a back and forth conversation at the moment, but we have had the conversation with our city staff. I know they have addressed the item multiple times. Although, you know, you feel like nothing's being done, I can assure you that things are being discussed, and we are working to see what we can do with respect to the sound ordinance and how it'll impact businesses in downtown, to include yours. You know, we appreciate all business, and I appreciate your business. I have a downtown business as well. I have two. So I do understand what that's like. Other than that, I'll leave it up to our city manager, our city attorney. We typically don't comment back and forth during, public comment, but I do want to make it clear there are members of the public here that I want to make sure we clarify that issue before them. So, is there anything else to add?
Well, just that hopefully by next council meeting on the 21st, we will have some ordinances to compare to similar downtowns as Brawley per direction from council members. Currently we're working on that and trying to pull something, as many as we can to compare and have something as a starting point for any future potential amendments.
Okay, so the next council meeting, the plan is to have something that we could at least have a conversation and
Present.
understand where we're moving. Okay,
Correct.
perfect. Thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time.
I appreciate it. I know oftentimes it's frustrating when you don't see action from council or comments back. This isn't, a time when we typically have the back and forth conversation, but I certainly wanted to make that point clear, so thank you for coming. All right, any other public comments? All right. It is a little cold, right? Yeah.
It's kind of like to piggyback on the conversation here. So you made a very well point about looking at other business or other cities for guidance or ordinances. And what I did is I actually made a copy of our ordinance, and I also made a copy of the city of El Centro's ordinance.
Turn it down a little bit. Light back up a little bit. First it was a little too warm, now it's a little too cold, right?
It feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good.
No,
Did I hand you two?
freezing. Come on, it's not freezing.
Or did I just hand one?
Yeah, you handed me two.
It'll say in the first 18.1 or 18.
All right.
All
So
right.
you're providing us the sections from El Centro and the city of Brawley.
Correct. And what I also did is I actually printed up a URL address where that you can actually go across the country and look at every state and look at the state of California, all towns, and actually pull their noise ordinances. So I just wanted to be proactive and be helpful and not be a negative naysayer. I look forward to the council's direction and helping us solve this issue.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor, I know there's not the back and forth, so I'm going to go kind of, this is unilateral.
Sure.
Just a comment. And I was not here in person, but did virtual into the last meeting and certainly heard and was a part of the conversation. So if I could just echo also, I think what I heard, what I gathered from the last conversation that we had the owner here as well that's engaged in the topic. All the appropriate parties are engaged. So is there an easy solution? Is it a matter of, is it a modification to the ordinance? And one of the things that I want to point out to the public is this is a downtown mixed use part of our town, one that's had a lot of attention for many, many years. So we have to be very careful on how we approach this so we can come up with a mitigator that'll hopefully make life easy or more livable for everyone. We want to stay on the track that we're on with, any little bit of momentum we start downtown is very important to this city and most of the citizens of this city. I don't want any of the residents of the plaza to feel it's just falling on deaf ears or that any of us walk out of here and don't care. And I think a lot of you in the crowd that know who we are individually know we do care. And that's why we're here. We're not here for the big bucks. We're here because we want to hear citizens like you and help you solve the problem. So if I could say for the record, we will stay on this. It's just not going to be the next meeting, the solution, here it is, right? we have to take in and weigh everything, and how do we come up with the best solution. So I think if we have a willing owner, that's a huge start. And I know that process is already going, so I have confidence in where our staff will be going, keeping us informed, and hopefully in the coming weeks, months, we can have something reasonable that we can work with. So I just want to make that part clear.
Can I just make a point? It's not about 805 though only, right?
I realize
We need
that.
to have, it's
Yeah.
not us against them. It's really all the businesses.
We understand
It
that.
is, and
We're
that's
not
I didn't want the
addressing-
back and forth. That was my whole point. There's
Right.
multiple stakeholders involved, so I just want to make that clear for the rest of the public that maybe have not heard all the comments. So, anyways, I appreciate the comments tonight.
Thank you for that clarification. And one added point, just because there is an audience here, I know that many of you are here for the recognition. We're going to get to that in just a moment, but there were some comments, public comments made with respect to like federal agencies in the city of Brawley and not feeling safe. But I can assure you, we have our chief of police here, Jimmy Duran, who's been spectacular. He's been here for 2 years now.
Over 2 years. Yeah.
2 years, and he's changed that department tremendously, added federal resources, state resources to that department, and is the best that I've seen in the time that I've been on council, and that's about 16 years. So I can assure you things are being done. Unfortunately, crime is just a part of life. It's not necessarily just Brawley, it's everywhere, but we're obviously doing everything we can to combat that by supporting our Brawley Police Department and making sure that they have resources, and we have a great team within that department. So want to recognize that. And with respect to Parks and Recreation, I never try and compare Brawley to any city because every city is completely different. El Centro has, and I'm married to the director of Parks and Rec, so I can say this with a lot of assurance. They just have a lot of resources that we don't. I mean, that's financial resources that we just do not. And so, it's just a different level of staff, different services, and we're certainly doing everything that we can with our resources, and we have good staff. So generally, don't go back and forth, but I wanted to make that very clear. And having said that, any other comments? Anybody? All right. Well, let's cheer this room up a little bit, right? Because welcome to the Brawley City Council, everybody. I hope you're having some fun now, right? Mr. Robert Platt's like, why did you bring me to this place? Why? You're supposed to recognize me for something positive, not punish me, right? Now, we're not punishing you. So, all right. So what we're going to do now is present a proclamation in recognition of the achievements of Mr. Robert Platt. It's presented by me here, George Nava, Mayor of the City of Brawley, and I'm very happy to see everybody here, members of the public, friends of Mr. Platt, and we're here to recognize his contribution to our community and for his success. So, you look like a champion, brother, so very proud of you. All right. So I'm going to read the proclamation, and then what we're going to do is take some pictures up there and recognize you in front of your friends and your family so everybody can take pictures, and I'm sure it's going to be in the newspaper. So, congratulations. All right. So it's a proclamation in recognition of Robert Platt. Whereas Robert Platt is 17 years old and a junior at Brawley Union High School, and whereas Robert Platt began wrestling at the age of 5 and has remained dedicated to the sport, and whereas Robert Platt's hard work has led him to become a 3-time CIF champion and Masters champion, whereas Robert Platt reached another milestone on February 25th, 2023, when he won the 2023 CIF State Wrestling Championships in the 195-pound weight class at Mechanics Bank Arena in Bakersfield, California. Whereas Robert Platt is now Brawley Union High School's first ever Wildcat to claim a first place weight class champions medal. Now, therefore, I, George A. Nava, Mayor of the City of Brawley, along with the City of Brawley council members, do hereby recognize and commend Robert Platt for his amazing accomplishment in winning the 2023 CIF State Wrestling Championship. It witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Brawley to be fixed on this 7th day of March 2023. And it's signed by myself and the Deputy City Clerk, and it's simple but significant recognition for you. Big round of applause, please. Now we'll go out there and present this to you, but before we do that, just want to, we'll go down the line and congratulate you, and do want to start off by saying we're all very, very proud of you, coming from Brawley and achieving what you have at a young age. We wish you, and I wish you, nothing but success. The doors are going to open wide for you, so, I congratulate you, and I thank you very much for being consistent and with what you're setting yourself out to accomplish. And I also want to thank you for inspiring others. You know, I'm not sure who's with you now. Are these family members or friends? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're inspiring the kids in the future champions, right? So congratulations to you on your accomplishment. I'm going to pass it on to my fellow council members so they can recognize you as well. But we all congratulate you and thank you very much.
Robert, truly impressive, and I'll echo, there's no other word to describe, again, community pride. So I know that as you're there, you represent yourself, your school, the program, Coach Leone there. It's a very storied program, as you know, so to stand out and be uncommon amongst the uncommon, you may have heard that before. You've certainly done that. But beyond that, I think really kind of etching your name into something like this where you're going to be remembered for really who you are, what you've done. I hear you perform in the class. I had a chance to speak with your father a little bit last night. Truly impressive. And I think that's the example that a lot of us are proud of. And I know Mr. Brewer, you have some trustees, there's a lot of folks here that have seen your career in high school, but there's many here that have seen it a lot longer than that. So congratulations. Very proud of you. Keep it going. And I know it's just the beginning.
All right. Councilmember?
Yeah,
Brewer.
Mr. Platt, congratulations. Yeah, like Councilmember Warren said, I think you have a 4.15 GPA, right? And that's just an equitable accomplishment as well. And I know when you're on that mat, it's just yourself. But I know I do want to commend your parents and your family because I know it takes, and your team and your coach and everyone that behind you. Because I know, like I said, you're on that mat by yourself, but you're backed up by your team, by your family, and now by Brawley. And so congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment. I will share that I work in El Centro, and come Bell game, I'm rocking blue and gold wherever I go. And so a lot of people talk about Brawley football. And one of the names that does get brought up a lot is Jay Platt, and how a lot of people were afraid to tackle him. And then so I see how, the family, that you got the genes, you got the brains, you got so much going for you. And it's such a big accomplishment as a junior, as a Wildcat, as just a representative of Brawley. And I'm proud, we're proud of you. And we hope, like I said, it's a simple thing, but we hope you cherish it. And we look forward to what your career and your future brings for the community of Brawley and the wrestling community as well. So congratulations.
Right. Councilmember Hamby.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations, Robert, and we're honored to have you here. And I really appreciate the representation that you give the city of Brawley when you go up the state. And I'm also glad that that you represent your family well. I came from a big family, and it was important to try to do the right thing and bring honor to your family name, and you've done that. And so congratulations, and we look for many more great things to come from you.
All right. Big round of applause, everybody. Mr. Platt, is there any comments you'd like to share with everybody? Not to put you on the spot, but
You may as well get used
Thank
to
you
it.
guys for the congratulations. Thank you for everyone that's here. I know everybody wants to go home, so I'm just going to say God bless everybody, and I thank you all for everything you've done for me.
Thank you. Mr. Platt. Hold on, if I'm going to present this, I have to wear my Brawley hat. Look at that. There we go. Congratulations, brother. Yeah. Hey, don't make him mad. This guy. Yeah, I know. Take it down. All right. Congratulations, bro. Helping from the seed rock. No more space in the. Big round of applause. Hey, family that you want to take a picture with? Yeah, if your family's here and you want to take that picture, make sure you get it now. Yeah. And show off the proclamation and your recognition. Get up here, everybody. Get your family up there. Oh, that's right. That's And we just received some comments from Mayor Pro Tem Castro. I do want to share them with everybody, so before we wrap up, I want to make sure that you all hear them. All right, look at this. Everybody, hey, now that you're famous, bro, everybody wants to be family. Huh? That's the way it works, huh? Huh? Yeah, right? It's like, oh, I know him. I grew up with him. Yeah, yeah, right? That's how it is. Like, yeah, I was there. All right. All right. Thank you. Let me just read something, please. Before you all leave, I want to read something that we received from Mayor Pro Tem Castro. And one thing I do want to mention, Mayor Pro Tem Castro, he was working to be responsible for this proclamation and get it placed on our agenda. So I want to thank him very much. But I'll read the comments shortly.
More pictures?
Yeah, they're doing their pictures. What's happening, brother? How are you doing? How are you? How are you? How's it going? Good, good.
What's up, man?
Even though you can't see it anymore, there's nothing.
Yeah, just through the, yeah, that's it.
It's a special moment for you, brother. Enjoy it. All right. Before everyone leaves, I do want to read some comments that we received with respect to Mr. Platt here, and I do want to read them off. Where's it at? All right, here we go. Mr. Platt. There he is right there. Mr. Platt, there's one more comment. It's from Mayor Pro Tem Castro, who couldn't be here, but quite frankly, he called me a few days ago to get this item on the agenda, and I was more than happy to support that, and he was able to work with staff, so I thank staff very much for putting it together and getting it on. But I do want to read his comments. So he actually wrote it to Mr. Salcido to deliver, but I'm going to read it on his behalf. What is the true definition of a warrior? A person engaged or experienced in warfare, soldier. A person who shows or has shown great vigor, courage, or aggressiveness, as in politics or athletics. What makes a person a warrior? Warriors generally are associated with two kinds of courage: the ability to fight, to protect themselves, and setting goals and developing the strength and skills to accomplish them. Young man, you have demonstrated your ability to fight and overcome challenges from a very young age. Now you have reached the pinnacle of your high school career, but I have a feeling you are far from done. You will continue to win and accomplish great things in life. You have gone down in the history books, and no one can take this accomplishment away from you. No one. You have made not just your family and school proud, but an entire region of the world who so desperately need young leaders like yourself to show us all what is possible if you just put in the hard work. This is from Ramon Castro. I have also experienced personally that besides being a great athlete warrior, you are a polite and pleasant young man. Maybe you recall our conversation. You referred to me as Mr. Walk the Line. I was impressed by your demeanor and the respect you show others. I wasn't alone on my assessment of you. When I reached out to our mayor for recognition, he immediately agreed and mentioned that he's heard great things about you. Your father and your mother should be extremely proud of the job you have done raising you. I wish for you nothing but the best in life has to offer, that you continue to win at every stage of life going forward. Once again, congratulations and thank you for making our city proud, Mr. Platt. In gratitude, Ramon Castro, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Brawley. So, congratulations to you.
Thank you, Mr. Castro.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all very much, and congratulations to you, Mr. Platt. We're very proud of you. Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening, my friend. All right, look at that. What a great kid.
Yeah.
You mean you all don't want to stick around and hear more about the city? Come on, what's going on? Huh? Yeah, all right. All the fun stuff.
More talk about boys.
Right, yeah. Yeah, right.
Gonna slap one more bell game patch on that.
That's great. They all came out to support, you know?
yeah.
It's like, have a good one. Yeah.
Hey, good
Congratulations to you too.
See ya.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have a good one. Take care.
Russell the Boot. Haven't seen him in a long time.
Okay. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Good job, man.
I'm telling you, brother, everyone knows you now, you know? Everyone knows you now. That leaves us. All right. There we go. Mr. Billy Brewer, how are you, my friend?
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, how funny.
That leaves us. That's it.
He's,
You know?
Joel's got an item. Huh?
Joel,
Yeah.
you're here?
I don't.
For-
5B.
Oh, there we go. All right, everyone, we're going to move on. So, we're still under public comments and appearances. Presentation of the Imperial Valley Food Bank presented by Sarah Griffin, Executive Director. I hope you've enjoyed the meeting so far. Yeah?
Sure have.
Yeah,
Learned a lot more about Brawley.
yeah, so did we. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Mayor Nava and Councilman Wharton. Well, Gil's not here, but hopefully he'll be back. And Mr. Hamby.
Right back.
So Rachel Fonseca asked me to do a presentation to you about what the food bank is doing in the city. I'm sorry our audience is mostly gone, but hopefully some of us will benefit from this information.
Certainly. We will. And it's being broadcast, so it's
we
also,
go.
yeah.
Oops.
And I should mention that Rachel Fonseca, she had a family emergency, so she's not able to attend today. So, yeah, sorry.
So I'm just going to set a little bit of context. I know my allotted time, I won't go over it. But food banking was invented in urban areas. And so food banking in rural areas is extremely difficult. We don't have large agencies who can go to the bank and withdraw food for their own agency and distribute it in their neighborhood. And so we do what we can. We have a list here of just the added expenses, higher transportation costs. Our poverty levels are higher. We have fewer resources from corporations and foundations who aren't interested in funding in rural areas, and less industry support. So it's just a more expensive and more difficult proposition to do in Imperial County than it is, say, in our neighbor San Diego or Orange County, or the list goes on. So with that in mind, can I just do this? No. Keep getting, there we go. So food flows into the food bank in the list on the left through the USDA, local growers, Cal Foods, which is a statewide organization, distributions, food drives, individual donors. We do reclaim food from local grocery stores. I'll talk a little bit more about that. And we purchase food more than ever because some of the other sources you see are drying up. And then food is sent to the community through schools, churches, shelters, partner agencies, and Imperial Valley Food Bank's mobile food pantry. So more about that. Oops, how do I go back? There we go. There's two main ways that food gets to the community. The first is through the agencies and churches that exist and work with us as partners, and we wish we had more, because that is really how food banking was invented. Catholic Charities, Salvation Army, to name two. We do work with Section 8 housing complexes. The apartment buildings will have a distribution to their own community center, and they'll distribute to their residents who all qualify for the program. So we're creating agency out of places where there aren't some in order to have more partners. But for the most part, we've had to move to the left side of the screen, which is a mobile food pantry. These are very large distributions that used to happen with people in line, but because of COVID, we had to go to a drive-through model. So in Brawley, you can see the residents that are served, 3,364. This is last month. It fluctuates every month, but basically over 1,000 households in Brawley are accessing food through the food bank. And then down below, you can compare that to the rest of Imperial. We also run a senior food box program, which is relatively new to us. This is an existing program that was in the south part of the county through San Diego Food Bank, who was hired by Catholic Charities to do that. We advocated for caseloads for that and were granted that last year, and so we've been able to expand the program in the north part of the county. This is a substantial program for our seniors who get a food box every month. And currently, almost half of our caseload is based in Brawley.
For that particular
program, yes. 480 seniors.
Why do you think that is? Is it more need here, or is it just maybe greater promotion out here, or what is that?
A lot of those seniors are already coming to our distribution, so they understand us, they trust us, they understand the program, and so it was easy for them to sign up and be a part of it.
Thank you.
We also have a bilingual staff that works on CalFresh outreach, and CalFresh is the name for SNAP in California. You can see the numbers there. Last year, 76 Brawley residents signed up for CalFresh. This is particularly important with our senior community who used to not be eligible. That any senior who had SSI could not access SNAP, but the law changed about 3 years ago, and now we're having a hard time getting the seniors to actually apply for CalFresh because they can earn more money. So only about 50% of the seniors in Imperial County have signed up. Ongoing work for us. You're probably familiar with our weekend backpack program. 1 in 3 children in Imperial County are food insecure. And that's a number you don't hear much because we don't have any larger agencies than this small nonprofit who's talking about hunger in Imperial County, and we do have a severe problem. So those most vulnerable children who are going home to no food or minimal food on the weekend are provided a backpack in school based on teachers' observations of them or guidance counselors. Currently,
Back one, yeah.
Back one, there we go.
There we go.
81 students in Brawley. We're serving about 800 in the county this year. That changes every year, of course. These are the schools where backpacks are available. And we do have more funding in this program. This is all private funding. This is not any kind of government funding. So any school that would call us who needs backpacks would be able to get them.
And the backpack program is food backpack? Is that what it is? Yeah, for the weekend or?
For
right?
the first distribution of the school year, they get a backpack. After that, it's a refill bag because we don't want any kind of stigma involved with
Absolutely, understood. But it's like a weekend assortment of
it's
food,
like 2 days
right?
worth of food.
Uh-huh.
Most of those kids are depending on cafeteria food.
Absolutely.
Or, free breakfasts. And when there's uncertainty at home, 2 days away from food is very difficult on a child, especially to go back to school on Monday.
Yeah.
And cognitive growth issues with just enough calories, the proper nutrition, all of that is certainly a factor.
Thank you.
This slide talks about our partner agencies in Brawley, and you can see we have 3 of them right now: Brawley Family Apartments, the Senior Apartments, and the United Methodist Church. But I also want to highlight the fact that we do a mobile food pantry, which has now been moved to the airport. We do that once a month. It is the largest single distribution we do in the county. It is at times over 500 families. And it's cars lined up, and City Manager Saucedo knows how complicated that has been. We were at other areas. We have been moved to the airport. That seems to be working, and we're happy to do that. I will say, historically, this distribution used to be run by Campesinos Unidos, and after the pandemic started, they closed to that kind of operation, and we had to take over. We're more than happy for them to take it back. These are the food pantry partners that we have in the city. And group homes. So I want to just mention SB 1383. I don't know if the council has operated on this, but this is a new legislation in California that's trying to limit food waste in landfills. We are happy to talk to whoever is operating that plan for your city, because we are already doing a lot of this work. And the implementation, they're starting to enforce it, but the implementation has to happen in 2024. So more than happy to talk to whoever is dealing with that in the city. So I would just say that we have a very robust website, which is labeled there, and I have some very talented people who work with me, who make me look good when I stand up in front of people. So I'm grateful for that. I just want to mention that the previous Brawley City Council, I did send a letter to about ARPA funding. I don't know if you have spent all your ARPA funding, but I did make a request for $109,262, which was the Brawley share of distributions during the 2.5 years of COVID. And so I'm just advocating for that if there is still funding available. And I welcome you to come tour our facility and learn a little bit more about what we do. Thank you for this time.
No, thank you very much for the information, for the presentation, and for, helping the residents of Brawley and Imperial County. So thank you very much. Yeah. We're sorry to keep you waiting so long. I know there was a lot of other items on the agenda. Is there any comments from council or any questions?
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Griffin, for that presentation. And you're right. Being on the school board, there's some schools in Brawley, 9 out of 10, 1 out of 3, 9 out of 10 kids are socioeconomically disadvantaged in schools in our town, and the needs there. Also, when it comes to seniors, the county, Imperial Valley has the highest percentage of hidden poor, which is seniors who are on fixed incomes. They're making just above to qualify for some of these programs, but not enough to meet their basic needs. And we've talked about inflation. Well, it impacts seniors as well. Their medication, their transportation, their bills, their taxes. So that need's there, and it's been growing. I worked at the Area Agency on Aging, where I think I met you. I volunteered there for a while also, and that senior need is there, and it's growing. And I guess the next question would be, are there ARPA funds available? And that's a conversation we can have, offline, Tyler. But I do want to put it out there just to see how we can assist in any way, even if it is just for seniors. So, thank you.
All right. Any additional comments? Go ahead.
I really do appreciate the presentation, Ms. Griffin, and the work not only you and the whole organization have been doing for years. I think about all of us that serve publicly in some form or fashion have crisscrossed with Ivy Food Bank on multiple different distribution efforts. I myself in the past have been part of some specific Christmas or holiday season opportunities, and including through the Sheriff's Department, et cetera. But I think with that, I can see one of you had many key points up in the presentation, but one of them does sound like also support on that distribution end is one of your cost drivers, right? So as you mentioned, if maybe there's some things we can do to encourage, intervene, influence within our city to see if we can kind of get that partnership kind of pre-pandemic back in and be supportive on that front as well. And speaking of ARPA, I mean, I assume, does any of this qualify at the county level for the community benefit funds that have just been discussed? And I think to the tune of a couple million, so. I tossed
Yes,
that out.
the county paid their share of ARPA that, because, I don't know, I had a little grid where I mapped out the costs that we incurred over 2.5 years, and then I broke it down by the percentage of people we served in each of the jurisdictions. And so the county did pay for theirs of this, but yes, there's a lot more money there that we'll be writing for.
Yeah, I'll let them know.
Sure.
But also, yeah, the community benefit, they just released $1 million. So I think it's up to maximum 25,000. So more information will be coming. So be sure they get sent to you.
I just want to say I have some folks with me, leadership of the food bank, that are Brawley residents tonight. So I
Very
have
nice.
4 of them here.
Thank you for being here. We know.
Would you like to introduce them?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're familiar, but
So we
for the
have
public's benefit.
our board members, Sharon Stagmuller and Tom Muller, and Celeste Alvarez, who is our communications specialist and did that amazing presentation, and Carrie Augusta, who is our agency care coordinator.
And she was freezing earlier, and she was telling me that, right?
Yeah.
She was like, it's freezing. She's like, it's freezing. Thank you very much
Yes,
for the presentation.
Thank you for all
being
that
out
you
here.
do, and thank you for coming tonight.
We appreciate it. Thank you. So if you step out, there's going to be like 3 people left. So I'm just saying, no pressure. You know what I mean? I'm kidding. You know, no, I know. See now, yeah. No, sorry. Yeah. Take care. Thank you very much.
It's all employees
for
and
being out
Joel.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. Items are approved by one motion. Council members or members of the public may request consent items be considered separately at a time determined by the mayor. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as written?
I'll motion to approve.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda. That's the city manager report.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report at this time. Thank you, city manager. We're moving on to regular business, and this is discussion, potential action to approve resolution 2023- of the city council of the city of Brawley, California, appointing William S. Smearden to the position of acting city treasurer until such time as a successor finance director is appointed, presented by Thomas Garcia, assistant to the city manager.
Good morning, good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I'll keep this short as I know the rest of the audience doesn't want to hear me speak.
Come on, we all love to hear you speak, bro.
Yeah, again, before you is the item to discuss and approve. Resolution, as we all know, our finance director, Carla Romero, moved on to our dismay. The great work she was doing, and she's no longer with us, but that leaves our treasurer vacant, and
Sure.
you know the importance and significance of having a treasurer on board. And so the recommendation is to approve this resolution that would make our city attorney acting treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
For motion
Mr.
to
Mayor,
approve?
read the backup, and we kind of had the precedent set prior to our recent finance director, and I think that we appreciate our city attorney stepping up into that position for now. So I make a motion. Move forward.
There's a motion by Councilmember Wharton. Is there a second?
I'll second. I do just real quick with Carla, who's interim finance director at this time. Do we have who's fulfilling those duties?
You're looking at him.
All right.
All right, there's a motion and a
By
second.
that I meant Bill. No.
Right.
You get a city email?
Take some finance classes.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Treasurer. You're Mr. Treasurer, City Clerk, Deputy City Clerk, Deputy City Clerk,
Join us
City
full-time.
Attorney. Here you go.
I just saw Bill hide his copy of Finance for Dummies.
I know, right? He was like, what is this? Yeah. Right? All right, there you go. You know? All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is 5B. Discussion and potential action to approve resolution number 2023- of the City Council of the City of Brawley, California, appointing Brawley Union High School District BUHS trustee Joel Gonzalez to the Brawley Parks and Recreation Commission. Appointment term ending June 30th, 2024, presented by Rachel Fonseca, Parks and Recreation Manager. And we don't have Rachel here. She is out on an emergency.
I'm fine with motioning for Joe. He's got the first ever boys volleyball game at Brawley Union High School to attend to right now, correct? All right. Well, I'll motion to approve Joel as the
Second.
on the
All
commission.
right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Any opposed?
He was waiting for the
All
vote.
those in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you very much. Thank you very much.
Don't worry, they
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, congratulations, brother. Go ahead.
Quick, thank you guys. Look forward to filling Rusty's shoes, those big shoes to fill. But we'll do a good job. Those hats are for, I was going to say in public comment, but I figured we had enough going on. Wednesday, we got our Law Enforcement Appreciation Night for Brawley Baseball. It's going to be a pretty good deal. So hopefully, we got a board meeting tomorrow. So we're going to try to, we're moving it up an hour to try to get to there on time. So hopefully you guys can make it. It's going to be a pretty good event. Mayor's going to make a special appearance too, I hear, right?
That's what I'm hearing.
That's what I'm hearing.
We'll see.
So hopefully it's
We'll
a safe
see.
appearance. And
Yeah, right.
it'll
Let's
be,
The other highlights?
right.
you want to?
No. Maybe you don't know the logistics.
I just heard we're going to be flying in. So
There you go.
So we're going to have
Another
our good
attraction.
connections at Reach.
There you go.
They're going to throw George out of the plane.
There you go. Hey, I told him if it's
Done
30
before.
We'll
feet,
definitely be there.
30 feet, then we'll definitely, you know.
I only want to fly in it if I have
we'll
to.
survive.
Actually, correction, we're going to throw Gil out.
Right, yeah.
So again, thank you guys. We do have our first home volleyball, boys volleyball. CIF just approved, so I'm gonna go see how we're doing over there. So thank you guys.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much and congratulations. Thank you. All right.
Wildcat Week.
All right, discussion potential action to approve resolution number 2023 of the City Council of the City of Brawley, California, appointing one member to the Brawley Library Board of Trustees with a term ending June 30th, 2025, presented by Petra Ortega, Library Manager.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Petra Ortega, Library Manager. At the moment, we have a vacancy in the Brawley Library Board of Trustees, so we are seeking approval of resolution number 2023- to appoint one member with the term ending June 30th, 2025.
All right.
I believe we only had one applicant, Miss Leah Penley.
All right.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, I know. I've attended a few, and she'd be there. So I.
Yeah, she's been
know
a guest
active.
at a couple of meetings.
Yeah.
Good.
I'll motion to approve.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Motion and a second. All those in favor, please
Aye.
say aye.
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 Thank you.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. Next item is discussion potential action to approve first reading of the ordinance number 2023, amending City of Brawley Municipal Code, Chapter 15, Solid Waste, requiring commercial solid waste bins to be outfitted with padlock upon direction from city officials. This revision further cleans up outdated language for clarity. Presented by Thomas Garcia, Assistant to the City Manager.
Yes, again, just try to keep it short. Again, just, a couple of revisions. One, the major item was to require padlocks when the city directs certain businesses in areas where continued scavenging is becoming a problem. And then thank you to the work of our city attorney who helped clean up the policy, was in dire need of a revision. A lot of outdated language, particularly it referenced Public Works several times, who no longer handles our trash removal, and just other language that needed to be cleaned up. So.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the item?
Yep. I'll make a motion.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I will second. So the padlock that would be up to the responsibility of the owner or the household. I forgot the term to.
It won't be household, it'll be for commercial business
Commercial.
areas,
Okay.
so dumpster type bins, and then that would be up to
If they are directed to
if
do
they're
so.
directed to.
Yeah.
Seems to me a lot of businesses put those on anyway because
Yeah.
people use their dumpsters.
Yeah,
They are, and we
tossing
have
stuff
two
in
in
there.
here at our dumpster,
Always
and we've
full.
already seen the difference it does.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you very much. Thanks for the presentation. Next item on the agenda, City Council member reports. We'll start with Council Member Hamby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not really much to report. Just just want to thank all of the city employees for the hard work that they're doing. It's been a busy year already, and we've had some losses here, and so I appreciate everyone picking up the slack and pressing forward. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Rebler.
Yeah. There's way too much going on in this city for such a short meeting. No. I'm talking to Councilmember Warren right now. It seems like it's Brawley week, from High School Madness yesterday to today to tomorrow is the first responders law enforcement game. So it was great to see Mr. Platt be recognized. Also want to give a shout out, continuing on, I guess, to some of our youth in Brawley. If you're in the fair, check out the Inspiration Gallery for the youth exhibits. There's a lot of really great artwork by Brawley students, not just like good visually, but with messages and powerful stuff. And I think that's a big testament to Mr. Lopez over at Brawley Union High School, who I know taught me and taught many others. But check it out, the Inspiration Gallery at the fair. Check out, you'll see the art and you'll be like, it's good. And then you look at, oh, Brawley Union High School, Brawley Union High School, Brawley Union High School. So, yeah, shout out to Joel. I know Joel's not here, but shout out to the entire BOHS administration and board. And also, I kind of piggybacking on that, I saw the mayor at the career day at the high school. It's really great to reach out to our youth. I think we've seen the really positives and what the youth, our Brawley youth, are capable of. But there are some issues, I think, with some of our youth. I think you've talked to officials and community members, I think even PD. They've seen this escalating. We talk about discipline in schools, and that's an issue. I think we even, not just in Brawley, but you just saw recently in Calexico, there was a scuffle, with a teacher and a former elected official. But I think, we saw this escalate. I think you could see this escalating to where, kids being kids, but now it's getting to a point where, I've gotten videos of fights in public, disrespect to our PD, adults being jumped, children, kids brandishing weapons, on Instagram, on social media, Instagram. And so, things like Career Day, I know we had our mayor participate in Read Across America, and that's as proactive. I think it's as proactive you can get, make that connection with our students. But I think I've been trying to kind of see how can we do more. I've talked to parents about building a parent coalition. I've seen other cities establish youth commissions. But I think one thing maybe we can have a discussion about is, similar to what other governing bodies do, is maybe taking this council meeting on the road, holding these council meetings at different parts of town, whether it's fire station on the east side or the school, Oakley, Stockman's. We'll have one at of course, but, try and at least make an effort to meet families where they're at, empower the communities, put a face to our governing body, even if it's just a simple meeting explaining. I know you've had workshops in the past, and I think those are great as well, but how can we do more? Because as we had a public comment about a recent shooting. There was just one back in May, where I think one 18-year-old and two juveniles were arrested, and one juvenile was wounded. So these things, that shouldn't be happening in a community. And like I said, our PD's been going above and beyond to address that, not just with the programs and all the grants, but also your recent grant for mental health and wellness funding for our PD, so taking care of our officers. So, and I'm not trying to, be negative, but there's just reality. A real part of our community that I think we are addressing, and trying to think how can we do more. And so, I guess the point of what I was trying to make is try to maybe hold these meetings in different parts of the city where we can at least meet the families where they're at.
I think that's a good point. We've had some, even as close by, but even as far away as like the kiosk, and the attendance is really strong, and just getting a different environment. I think it's important.
Yeah, no, I think
certainly.
So also, I was with our very own librarian on the naming committee for the new middle school, right there on Cesar Chavez, and next meeting, correct? Next school board meeting. They will be having a public hearing and selecting the name. And so the four names that are up for, that the Brawley Elementary School Board will be deciding on, Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta, Captain Scott Pace, and Jose Padilla Sr. And so those are the four names that there will be a public hearing next Tuesday at the Brawley Elementary School Board, 6 p.m. If you have any conviction or you want to make sure that board hears you, attend that meeting on D Street, 261 D Street, and let your voice be heard, and then that governing body will make that decision that night, I believe. So, that's the four names up for the new middle school here in Brawley. I think it's a really big thing, and I'm really honored to join, and not just Petra, but there's many other community members involved in these discussions that we hammered it out, learned about history, learn about the present, demographics. So it was really, really great to to be a part of. Some issues, though, I know, with baseball season coming up, I have heard some concerns regarding parking. Large trucks, trailers, semis parking around our parks, and like, no, multiple areas, not just one or the other. It seemed like one person told me, and then it just started multiple, and maybe getting. And I did look at the ordinance. I'm trying to. I know, kind of maybe similar to the trash can be a little cleaned up because I got a little just trying to understand it. So maybe a future discussion on that ordinance on clarity. So then I know how to answer when a concerned citizen comes up to me and regarding what we're doing or what's on paper. Also, I know we've talked North End, Lithium Valley. The County of Imperial just opened up public comments for the Lithium Valley potential tax revenue, so you can check that out. lithiumvalley.imperialcounty.org. You can provide direct input on how you'd like to see the potential tax revenue be spent for Lithium Valley, and so that's another way to get your have your voice be heard. And so, with that being said, one more thing. City of Calexico has a new mayor, and so I want to congratulate Mayor Udenya for becoming the mayor of our sister city to the south of Calexico. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilmember Wharton.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Just a couple things I want to report is I don't want to get the cart before the horse, but I know our city manager met today with individual representative, a resident of Brawley that reached out in connection with some potential, I guess at this point I'll call it sort of a renewable energy concept and project that may potentially utilize our wastewater. And this is to potentially generate some energy. So again, without getting the cart before the horse, maintain a little, not just anonymity, but I do believe it's pretty early stage. So maybe more to go on that if something comes of it. And thank you, Tyler, for facilitating that meeting and next steps. And I think that was followed by a quick tour also of the wastewater plant to kind of get eyes on the site. Outside of that, obviously the fair is well underway. I kind of have a little bit of a historic role, 25 years of being a part of a volunteer Imperial County Sheriff Reserve Unit. And I know our chief has, long history there as well. And just happy to see things going very well down there. As made some fair references in some of the exhibits, but just the whole thing all together to be there last night and watch BUHS really shine. I know there's a lot of pride around that, but and kudos to really all the parents, family members, and frankly the kids, everybody on their best behavior. So it was a successful night. So just happy to see that. Outside of that, just looking forward. March is a busy month. I think everything from the NAF Air Show coming up, some really key community and regional events. I think a lot of us will enjoy. So looking forward to taking advantage and being a part of as many of these events before it gets too hot. So, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have for now.
Thank you all very much. And normally we'd go to Mayor Pro Tem Castro. He's not here, but I do want to mention something on his behalf. And this is it's more of a recognition for him. He called me a couple weeks back when Desert Shores was having issues out without power and those sorts of things, and he had called just for assistance, to get a point of contact at the ice shed here locally. And I asked him what the need was, and turns out we were contacted by a mutual friend. And I hope I'm not embarrassing him, but he was prepared to underwrite the cost of a pallet of ice, which is several $100s. And so I spoke to him, and I did it out of respect for him because I know he has a tremendous heart and wants to help people. But I offered to help offset some of the cost as well. I don't say that for my own recognition. I just show it as an example of his contribution to the community because he was willing to do that. And just like all of us, we go through ebbs and flows with money, and sometimes we have more, sometimes we have less. And I've been there. And so I recognize that sometimes, your heart is bigger than your wallet, and so, and I'm not saying that was the case with him. I just wanted to make sure that he isn't fully, feeling that burden. But I thought very highly of him for offering that, and so I want to recognize him publicly for doing that and for helping people that quite honestly he didn't need to, and so, and I don't say that out of disrespect for anybody. I just say that out of a reality, So thank you, Council Member Mayor Pro Tem Castro, for your generosity in helping other people and fellow human beings. I think that's a good thing. So, all right. And for myself, did do Read Across America. That was a great experience. Read to like 5-year-olds and 8-year-olds. Great kids, really, really good kids, and very heartwarming. I'm very engaged with kids, and so it's like I get animated and they get excited, and it was very cool, to see them. But I can tell you, it's very heartbreaking when they share stories of kids that are in need, financial need and other needs. It's just very, very. I'm an emotional person. Many of you have seen me. But I can tell you, I read to this group of 5-year-olds, and there was 2 kids in particular that I kept like pointing out and just kind of joking with them, laughing with them. And after I was about to leave, I had already said my thanks to the teacher, and I stood there, and the little girl came up to me, and she said, I don't have, yeah, oh, that's right. So she came up to me. And she says, I don't have a dad anymore. He's like, he left and he forgot about me. He doesn't care about me. And I said, oh, I care about you. And she gave me a hug. And it was just like very, very like you can see just the need for love and affection and wanting to be around somebody. It's just very, very tough. So anyway, I told you I get emotional, but it's, they're just kids that need some love and attention, and they're good kids. So. I also did the BUHS Career Day. That was also great. Got to hear from some students and get to see some that are seniors in high school that are going off into the world. And so some of them didn't necessarily have a plan. But I can tell you, I'm just very direct. Like, I don't talk about like what I do. I talk about the challenges in my life and what I've done, because I haven't led a perfect life. I've never been, that perfect A student. I've never been, that great. And so I've had a lot of challenges in my life, a lot of bad things that I've done and a lot of good things. So I talked more about that and kind of overcoming adversity and just talking about like what they want to do. And I can tell you, I know I opened a few eyes there. So that was important for me, but I think it's important for all of us as community leaders, everyone in here. We're all professionals, community leaders, and it's good when we're able to let them know like what you're working on, what you're doing, what you're excited about, your profession, and it inspires other people. You never know who you're going to inspire. And so to me, that's really important. I thank BUHS for the opportunity. I also had a breakfast meeting with our County Board of Supervisors chairperson, that's Ryan Kelly, former mayor of the city of Brawley, and that was very good as well. Got a conversation with the city mayor of El Centro and with Alex Cardenas with the ID and council member Maria Nava from Calipatria. So that was a good experience too. A lot of shared information. Very good. Also attended the Heart Insurance grand opening. If you didn't go, they had a great party and a great just atmosphere. And that, you think about it, I mean, that's just, that's like $1 million invested there. And so from the purchase of the building to the rehab to everything. So you think about it, they're providing opportunity. And one thing I could say about them, because I do business with them, through many of the insurance companies we do business with, but I do business with them, and I can tell you like their customer service and the fact that they're local and the fact that they're just willing to help people goes a long way. And so, that's think about the American dream. When Liz started there at an early age, 16, 17, that's been her only job, and she became owner of that establishment, and so that is the American dream. You start somewhere, you become not just employed, but you rise above. You end up buying the business how you bought a building, and so she's a very humble person, but I'm very proud of her accomplishments, and I hope as a community we can help support businesses like that and people like that. She's a good person, and honestly, she's providing other opportunities for others. So I appreciate that. And let's see, Witter School, Miguel Hidalgo School, I did read. And lastly, we did have a visit from kindergartners here, and I got punched in the stomach by one of them. So that was cool. And kinder visit from Meadows School. And so they came in here, they visited PD and they visited Fire, and they came in here to visit us. And, Tyler handed out some coloring books. It was coloring books and there was like a dog on it. And they asked, like, what is this about? He's like, Tommy and Tyler handed these things out. And then they're like, oh, what is this? And he said, oh, the mayor's in there And they said, the mayor's a dog? I said, that's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate. You know what I mean? That's pretty accurate. But no, good kids. So anytime we can interact with them, let's do that. I want to thank all of staff for your work. Everybody's working really hard. I know, as it was mentioned earlier, we had some changes in staff and leadership. But hey, you know what? We have a great group of people, and I'm proud to be part of the team along with you. So let's just keep on rolling. So thank you all very much. We'll move on to our city attorney's report.
No report, that's fine.
What about as treasurer or as a city deputy city clerk?
Deputy city, okay, well, as deputy city clerk, I went down to the fair and judged the adult fine arts.
There you go, see?
And then, and if it wasn't for DS Arts, Brawley High wouldn't have got their stuff in the fair.
There you go.
Because they missed the deadline and they didn't know it was extended until DS Arts told them.
Fantastic. See, that's the full circle of how things work in the city of Brawley. Appreciate that. All right, and then we'll move on to closed session. Just want to thank you all very much again. Thank you. Is there anything in close that we need to?